Hello, guys. Welcome back to Be on the Checker Flag. It's Taylor,
And it's Izzy.
and this is episode 17.
So, our next guest this morning is moving from single seaters into endurance racing. He is also a part of Motorsport Team Germany. So, could we please welcome Hugo Schwarze?
Hugo, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you very much for having me.
No
Of
worries.
course. So, we all know that last year you were racing in GB3. So, if I could ask you to describe your GB3 season last year in 3 words, what would they be?
In 3 words, oh, that's difficult. Challenging, um, enjoyable, and new. But yeah, it was a new experience for me. Yeah.
And obviously, what made you get into racing at like the start of your career? What was it that made you want to be a racing driver?
Yeah, so obviously I only started 3 years ago, but I
Mhm.
was always into motorsport. I always used to watch. I live in Cologne, so I live quite close to Spa and the Nürburgring. So when there was a race on there, I was always watching at the track. But I used to play professional hockey, and I had to stop because of a knee injury. So that's when my dad actually got me a sim rig, and that's how I kind of discovered my love for driving myself, actually. And one day I got the opportunity to drive a racing kart, and then yeah, it kicked off from there really.
Yeah, nice.
Lovely. What is the most important thing that you have forgotten to bring to a racetrack?
The most important thing,
Yeah.
I've got to say, I'm actually quite organized, so
Yeah.
I've got my checklist, so I make sure I don't forget anything. Um, I did forget one thing at the last race weekend. I wanted to bring my team some gifts, and I forgot those. So I was a bit bummed
Oh,
about that, but other than that, I didn't really forget anything.
that's better because some drivers have said they've forgot like their helmets and stuff. So at least you're organized.
Yeah, at least that hasn't happened to me. Yeah.
Yeah, you never know.
No.
What is something that the people that support you, your fans, what do they not know about you?
Um, I'm quite introverted. I have a close friend group, a small friend group. I don't really go out a lot. I tend to meet with the friends that I like to hang out with, which are not too many. So yeah, more introverted.
What do they all think of your racing? Do they come and watch you?
Um, yeah, they do come and watch me, but not when I'm out racing in England or so. If I'm close at like Spa or something, then they watch me. Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
So, what do you think is your favorite racing track to race on?
So my favorite racing track is the Nordschleife, but I haven't actually raced there. I haven't actually driven on it myself. I've been a passenger. But for racing, I think Spa was pretty cool last year. Yeah.
And is there like a dream track you have to race on in the future?
Either the Nordschleife, obviously. I'm actually planning to race there this or next year. Or somewhere in Asia, Suzuka or Sepang. Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Those are very cool tracks.
Oh yeah.
So, if you could relive any moment of your career, which moment would you choose?
Mm. Probably my first Ginetta Junior win. It was my first win in England after having several podiums, and it was just a special victory because it was a long time coming, and the team and I put a lot of hard work into it, and then finally getting that race win after several podiums was pretty special.
What do you think is like the biggest achievement that you've had so far as well?
I think the Ginetta Junior Championship, vice championship.
Mhm.
It was tough competition, and it was only my second year motorsport. I only did 1 year of karting before that, and then competing against people that have raced since they're 5 years old, and becoming vice champion there was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's
So,
awesome.
how was it going from just one racing season of karting and
Yeah,
then going straight into single seaters? Like, how did you find that jump?
yeah. So it was pretty difficult. Obviously, the Ginetta Junior is quite similar to a kart. It slides around quite a lot. It doesn't have any downforce. It has road tires. But just getting used to that feeling of a car, the feeling of bigger tracks such as Silverstone, was obviously quite a challenge. But yeah, I think I felt quite good with the car from the beginning. And yeah, it was quite natural to me.
That's
Um,
very impressive.
and obviously, when fans watch racing but don't partake in it, we have a lot of opinions about what we watch, but what do you think is like the biggest misconception that fans will have about racing?
Oh, that it's not physical. I see a lot on social media that not even racing fans, but also let's say football fans. I don't know if they say it to get us angry or something. I don't know. But yeah, I think that's a big misconception. Motorsport is quite a physical sport. You have to have a good general fitness, strength and endurance. So yeah, that's probably the biggest misconception.
And how much is your training going to have to change now you're going into endurance? Because obviously that's like a whole different ballpark.
Yeah. So from a strength aspect, I think my training is gonna stay the same. It's obviously still very physical. But yeah, obviously the races are much longer. I'm racing for 1 hour this year, or yeah, 2 hours with the whole team, and that means I'm driving an hour and my teammate is driving an hour. So I'm doing a lot more cardio work, a lot more running, a lot more bike training. Yeah, which I don't really enjoy all the time, but it's what has to be done. Yeah.
So if you could choose any race car that you haven't driven before to take out on the track day, which one would you choose?
Formula One car.
Yeah.
Pretty
That's
easy.
first.
Yeah. Pretty easy, yeah.
Got a team you want to do it with, or?
I don't mind. Probably a German team, to start off
Yeah.
with, Mercedes or Audi next year. That would be pretty cool. But yeah, a Formula One car, just feeling the downforce would be special, yeah.
And obviously your career is still like you're still in the early stages of it, but
Yeah.
what has been the most challenging part for you so far?
I think adapting to the GB3 car. Obviously, I was the only driver in GB3 to haven't done a single seat a year beforehand. So I was the only one jumping from a GT. And obviously, a Ginetta Junior has 100 horsepower, road tires, no downforce at all, and then jumping to a high downforce car with slicks and big tires and aero, was quite a big challenge. And I have to admit the first rounds were quite difficult, but towards the end of the year it got pretty good.
So who inspires you the most within racing and also within life as well?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one. I think my racing idol is Sebastian Vettel. Not just because he's a great driver, but because he's a great human being as well. He's always positive. He's got a great mindset. He's a good sportsman. So yeah, it has to be Vettel.
I heavily agree with that one. I feel like
Yeah.
not many people say Vettel, so as soon
No,
as you said
I'm
Vettel, I was
wondering
like,
why,
yes!
because yeah.
Yeah, he's one of
Yeah,
my
he's a
favorite
great
racers
character.
as well.
Yeah.
But just quickly, because loads of people think that he's gonna return to Formula One. What do you think? Do you think that's gonna happen realistically?
I mean, I hope so. We've seen it from quite a lot of drivers that have said, okay, I'm not going to race anymore, and they've returned. Obviously there are rumors that he's going to join again, but I'm not sure if it's going to be in Formula One. I think it might be in endurance racing, such as WEC, 24 Hours of Le Mans, and stuff like that.
Yeah, maybe.
Let's hope.
Yeah.
But what's the weirdest thing you've been asked to do as a racing driver? This could be like by fans or anyone.
Oh, I get asked to send them shoes, worn racing shoes. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I'm hoping it's just for like a collection with a signature on it.
Ah.
But obviously I'm not sure. Yeah. That's pretty weird.
That is pretty
I
weird.
think. Yeah.
Worn is what makes that
Yeah.
strange.
Yeah.
But then didn't Charles like sell his shoes and like whole gear for like some charity event or
Did he?
something
Yeah.
like that? He
Oh,
did.
yeah.
So I'm like,
Yeah.
see, they
Many-
always get
yeah.
weirder.
Yeah. That's true.
So where do you see yourself in 5 years?
As a factory driver, obviously Formula One is a dream of mine, but with the cost of single seaters, it's just very unrealistic nowadays. So yeah, my goal is to reach the highest levels of endurance racing, which is WEC and IMSA. And yeah, I want to be a factory driver there.
Nice.
Very cool.
And what is like the best piece of advice you've ever been given? This could be racing related or just like general life, but
I think focus on your own path. I think it's a quite important thing for me as well, especially because I haven't been in motorsport for long. yeah, just focus on your own path. Don't look too much at what others are doing. Just concentrate on yourself, and you'll get there.
Nice.
Very good.
And just quickly, obviously you started in kiting first, you said. What
Yeah.
was that first year of kiting like? Because obviously you've never done it before, and all these people have been doing it for years.
Yeah, so it was obviously quite weird. I started off in Rotax CD2, which was probably the highest level in Rotax in Germany. And I competed in the German and European Championship. So yeah, racing against the guys that have done it for the past couple of years and being able to compete well, was pretty cool. But it was definitely something to get used to. The race weekends, not being at home very often, having to catch up on the schoolwork all the time, and all of that. But yeah, it was the start of everything. So yeah, pretty cool year.
Always also have a question of how different is it racing in Germany and then racing in the UK, for example?
Mhm.
I like the UK. Obviously, I haven't raced a car in Germany yet. But the fans are pretty cool. The people are very nice and funny. Yeah, and they're much more racing fans actually. If I speak to someone in England and say I'm racing, then most of them have said, "Oh yeah, I've watched a couple of races, or I've actually been to the track." Whereas in Germany, weirdly enough, not many people watch it anymore, and some people actually look at it and say, "Yeah, what you're doing isn't good for the environment." So I actually love racing in England. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's very interesting with the environmental part, because
Yeah.
I guess it is quite like polluting.
Yeah.
But I also feel like with the emergence of Formula E and stuff like that, then
Mhm.
hopefully
Yeah.
racing will be a bit greener.
Yeah,
I think
slightly.
Sebastian Vettel might play a role
Yeah.
in that as well.
Yeah.
He's very
The thing is, in England, they
Yeah.
don't really care.
Really so much
No.
for the petrol anyway.
We should get V10s back though in Formula One, in my opinion. Yeah.
Now, if you were to give your 10-year-old self advice about his future and starting racing, what would you say to him?
I don't think I would give any advice. I think what's going to happen is supposed to happen. Obviously you have to learn yourself. If someone tells you everything, and you just have to try out. You have to try out stuff. You have to learn from it. You have to make mistakes. That's the only way you learn. So I wouldn't really give any advice other than have fun. That's probably the most important part. If you have fun, you'll be good at whatever you do. So yeah, that's it.
That's nice.
So what is the most important? Oh, that's the same.
No worries.
Hold on. I've heard this one before.
Oh my god. Next question then.
Yeah.
If you were a team principal at the 24-hour Le Mans, what drivers would you choose?
Not yourself.
Yeah, that's in the
You
bracket.
can't choose yourself.
I can't choose myself.
No, you're the principal. You can't drive.
Max Verstappen,
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Estre, and Mick Schumacher.
And can
Actually,
you give
no,
an
Vettel.
Okay.
Sorry. Yeah.
Well,
No.
why do you pick those drivers?
Verstappen is he's got the best mentality of all the drivers out there. He's good at everything he does. I mean, obviously he's very dedicated to his sport. I'm not saying that other drivers aren't, but even if he's not at the track, he's in his sim rig. He does driving. So that's my first pick. Then Kevin Estre is my favorite driver in endurance racing. I've watched him since the beginning. He raced the Porsche Grello on the Nordschleife, so that's where I started watching him actually. And he's very brave. He's a great driver in all conditions, and obviously on the Nordschleife you have to be focused for many hours. It's probably the most difficult track out there. So I think if you can tackle the Nordschleife and be good there, then you can do it on other tracks as well. And then yeah, third pick, Vettel, obviously my favorite driver, and obviously I'd love to see him back in racing.
Yeah. Out of those three, who would you rather have as a teammate of your own?
Probably Verstappen.
Really?
I think at the end of the day, he's probably the best out there. So I always want to compare myself to the best drivers out there, and yeah, that's probably the driver I could learn the most of.
Fair enough. I'd be a bit scared to
Yeah.
have my teammate.
I'll be terrified.
Yeah, fair enough.
But if you could have a meal, this is another thinker question. If you could have a meal with 5 drivers, dead or alive, who are you choosing and why?
5 drivers.
Mhm.
Senna,
Mhm.
Cross, just for a bit of to spice it up. Niki Lauda, Lewis Hamilton, and
Mhm.
Verstappen. Actually, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Quite a mix there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, good mix.
Why
The
those
two rivalries
drivers?
as well. Sorry,
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Might cause some
actually,
arguments.
sorry. I have to replace Lauda with Schumacher. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd want to speak to Schumacher. Yeah, and Senna and Prost. I think it would be interesting to hear the stories about their rivalry, as well as obviously Senna versus Schumacher, or Hamilton versus Verstappen as well. Would be pretty interesting, I think. Yeah,
Yeah. It'd definitely
To
be
unpack all the
interesting.
drama.
exactly.
Well,
Yeah,
I did hear that Senna and Prost, like towards the end of his career, at least this is what I saw in what's it called?
Yeah.
The TV series, the Senna TV
Yeah,
series.
yeah.
They made out that they kind of like made up ish at the end.
Who
Whether
knows?
that's like Hollywood like
Yeah.
taking
Who
their
knows?
own take on it, or if it
Yeah.
actually happened. That would be
That's what I would
interesting.
want to find out. Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually true. Oh, here we go. Last question.
So, what are you most excited for this season?
I think it's a new chapter, and I'm most excited to race at Le Mans. I'm going to be racing on the Saturday of the start of Le Mans. I think that's going to be very special, racing with all the visitors there. I think it's going to be over 300,000, and all the hypercar teams, all the endurance teams that are racing in the 24 Hours of Le Mans, watching and being there as well. That's going to be a lot of pressure, obviously. But yeah, I think it's as special as it can get in this stage of my career. Yeah.
And just a question, obviously you said about like the big crowds. You
Yeah.
obviously might not be as used to that, but with like, for instance, in Formula One, they had F175 recently and all the drivers didn't seem that up for it. So what do you think about all that? Do you think that it's a bit too much, or do you think that it's what it needs?
I mean, at the end of the day, F1 needs marketing, and obviously that is marketing. Obviously they could fine tune it a bit, to say the least. But at the end of the day, it was the first event. They had to try something new, and yeah, it's good for the teams. It's good for the sport at the end of the day. So I think it's what has to happen.
Yeah, so you would do something like that then?
Well, I would.
Yeah.
I would obviously do it. The question is if I would be happy to do it. But yeah, it's all about marketing yourself, about getting new sponsors and all of that stuff. So I think it's quite important. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. All right.
Max Verstappen didn't look like he was having that good of a time.
No, he did not.
The fact you didn't
Not at all.
speak says enough, I think.
Yeah. No.
But
Yeah.
thank you for talking with us today. We've
course.
enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah.
We wish you the best of luck in
Yes.
your season. We'll
Thank you very
obviously be
much.
cheering you on. Where can everyone find you on social media so they can keep up with what you're doing?
Instagram is probably the platform I post the most on. Hugo Schwarze. Maybe you can blend it in there. just right here. Yeah. But yeah, just on Instagram. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you
Instagram.
so much.
Perfect. Thank you.
We'll see you soon.
Yes.
Bye.
All right.